Lies, 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 yeah. It's not just a line from a random 80s song, which I happen to know and you've never heard of.
No idea what it is.
It's a reality of our physical health. And I'm not just talking about the lies that you hear from the guy down at the gym or your neighbor. There's a lot of lies that hurt us as men when it comes to our physical health. And it's not those outside lies. It's the lies that we have in our own mind. A lot of the lies that hurt us when it comes to our physical health have to do with lies that we believe or that we think. So what we're going to do is talk about those today, what they are, and what you can do about them.
This is the Thriving Man Podcast with David and Reese Maxwell. These weekly shows are designed to help you remove the confusion from your life and make real progress with your growth. No matter where you are or where you're going, we're here to help you live a life you can be proud of. So welcome to the Thriving Man Podcast.
Welcome to the Thriving Man Podcast, where our goal is to help you live a life that you can be proud of. I'm Reese.
And I'm David.
And today we are talking about the various lies of physical health world. Because I don't know why, but physical health can get weird.
It can.
Like there's like a bunch of subcultures
where
like everyone's like, oh, you got to do it this way, or we got to have it that way.
Yeah.
And it's just, it can get you doing weird things. In fact, I remember one time when I was in college, I was looking at various healthy recipes.
Yeah.
Right. I was trying to find healthy snacks. And there was one involving basically making a bowl of ice cream, like peanut butter, banana, but they were like, well, you got to do it with cottage cheese, because cottage cheese has got 12 grams of protein, almost no, like, and it listed all the reasons that cottage cheese was the way to do it. To my everlasting shame, I tried it, and I tried to like it. I probably did it for a couple weeks. I was like, no, this is
great.
This can be good. It's good, you know, and it did not last long. But like, that's part of the physical health world. It gets weird. Do you have a story like that?
Yeah. When your mom and I were young, we were overweight, trying to do something. And back in this time, it was early 90s, Nutrisystem was just kind of coming out. They're still around today.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. And their food is probably better today. But at the time, because the whole point is they have these classes and, you know, where they basically shame you. But anyway, not really.
Oh, that's nice.
But they just tell you, okay, you need to eat less. And basically you buy their food. You replace your food with their food. And their food is better for you, yada, yada. Their food was horrible. Your mom and I bought like this 2-week packet, hundreds of dollars. And we thought, okay, we're going to do it. And we did it for one day. And the food was so horrible.
Yep.
We're like, you know, just not going to do it. Because, I mean, we're Southern people.
Yeah.
The food is very important to us.
Matters
It
to
does
us.
matter.
It matters.
And so we just couldn't do it. And that is not how we're like, okay, this is not how we're going to lose weight doing this. And we didn't lose weight for a long time after that. But I just couldn't. We just couldn't do it. It was just like eating cardboard. And I was just like, no, food's too important.
Yeah, and that actually falls under one of the categories we're going to talk about.
Yes, it does.
Which we'll discuss a little bit later. But what we're kind of covering today is 3 major lies that are holding you back from really getting your journey going physically with your physical health. These are things that, because we make these assumptions, a lot of times we set ourselves up for failure when it comes to having a physical health journey.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump in with the first one. And this is arguably one of the biggest, the I can't mentality.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of what that is.
The I can't is one that a lot of people struggle with, that they don't think they do. What happens is it just starts with little failures. A lot of times, a good illustration is New Year's resolutions. When you have a New Year's resolution where each year, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to get in better shape, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then after about 4, 5, 6 years, you don't.
Yeah.
A lot of times what happens is you get to that point where you're like, I just can't. That's not me. It's not going to happen. I can't do it. I tried it one time. Or like your mom and I, well, we tried it with this Nutrisystem. That didn't work. So we're just not going to try anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get that attitude of, well, I tried getting in shape once.
Yep.
Well, a lot of times we maybe tried the wrong thing or did something that didn't fit our personality or tried to become someone else. You know, well, I watched this video of this guy who says I need to do this and eat this and do this. Well, that's what he does. Is that the best thing for you? And what happens is we get into this, well, I can't do it like that. So I just can't.
Therefore, I can't do it. Yeah.
I just can't. I can't work out like The Rock. And a lot of times what it is we have this thought process where physical health is like the gold medal or a prize or crossing the finish line. If I got down to this weight, you know, if I weighed 165, it'd be great. Well, let's say you get there, but you didn't build the thing in your life to stay there. A lot of people lose weight, but they go back up.
Yep.
A lot of people get healthy for a race, but then they don't do anything the rest of the year. Physical health is not a prize. It's a journey. It's something that you go on that's really a lifelong process. And when you have the I can't, what you're saying is, I can't reach the prize. And so what you're doing is you're cutting yourself off from doing anything physical and being more healthy than you are at the current moment.
Yeah. That was really good, actually. That was super good. All right, podcast is done.
Yeah, here we go.
No, the I can't mentality, I think, is very common. To me, I think another word for it would be a cynicality.
Yeah.
It's a cynical nature.
That's a good word for it.
It's the feeling of it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Forget it. It's not worth the pain.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we box ourselves in when we think that way.
Yeah.
It's almost the reverse of confidence. Because what confidence is you begin to take action in the real world. Yeah. And as you get these little wins, you eventually build up your confidence.
Yeah, you do.
That cynicality is almost the opposite. You've made little compromises.
Yeah.
You've given up on these little things over time, and eventually you've proved to yourself, quote unquote, that you can't do it. And it's a lie. That's the reason that we're calling it a lie, is there's no reason why your past should have to define your future.
Yeah. And a lot of times what we do is we allow those little failures to like you said, make us cynical. Then we start making fun of other people.
That's true.
You know, oh, so-and-so is healthy. Yeah, but they just have a better metabolism. We start making excuses, to
true.
where, oh, well, those people, they don't need anything, and we justify our lack. And I'm not saying you have to copy someone else.
No.
You don't have to go run a marathon.
No.
But if someone chooses to do that, that's their thing. What's your thing? It may not be marathons, but maybe it's just walking regularly. Maybe it's biking. Maybe it's canoeing. Find whatever, but don't get that cynical to where, well, I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm just not built like that, or I just don't have the genes for that. That's the thing I've heard people, well, my grandpa was big, my dad was big, so I'm just big boned. It's the way I am. Well, I've also seen you eat, and I think that has something to do with it too. Yeah. It's just the reality. We can run away from it, but a lot of times we just think, I can't change.
Yeah. And those are usually the two responses.
Yeah.
When we have the I can't mentality, we either get outwardly aggressive towards anyone that's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're just like, well, you just don't understand,
Yeah.
even though they probably do.
Yeah.
Or two, we just run away. We just check out, and we just avoid anything that gives us even that semblance of feeling like we should change because we feel like we can't. So we just avoid that sensation altogether.
Yeah.
Both of those places kind of take the power away from you.
That's true.
Because it's no longer your decision now. It's like it's as if the universe is against you.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of
you're
people
just sitting
feel
in the corner.
Yeah.
And that's just not it. That's not reality.
Yeah.
That may feel like reality right now for you, But you can literally, by making a few different decisions and sticking with them,
Yeah.
shift that narrative.
Yeah, you can. And I think that's the key is thinking, what can I do to take control and not live with the I can't mentality? And the I can't may be things that were done to you. You know, you may have been shamed by people in your family or other people.
Possible.
There may be other things where you learn to compensate through unhealthy living. Well, that takes work, that takes effort. But when you live with the I can't, you don't even try.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do is, you know, you got to at least try. You got to at least give some effort because you never know. You say, well, I can't be 100%. Okay, but maybe you could be 80%. 80% healthier is better than not healthy at all.
It's exactly right. And once you do that, it shifts your attitude because you have this mentality of hope.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, I thought that was very profound. You're saying yes to a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
So your goal is not to get to a weight.
Yeah.
Or your goal is not to get to a certain size of arm or a certain weight that you can push.
Yeah.
That may be a piece of your journey.
Yeah.
But your journey is the larger picture. You have to begin to think to yourself, what does a healthy life look for me in the everyday?
Yeah.
How does that look for me today? And I'm sure we're going to talk about that in future episodes.
Yeah.
But the I can't mentality holds you back from even asking that question.
Yeah, you don't even try.
So the second one is the all or nothing lie. Why don't you give us a little bit of that?
Yeah, that's a big one for us as men.
Yeah.
Most men
We're bad about that.
are complete all or nothing. We kind of go by that, go big or go home.
Yep.
You know, and so you see the guy in January, man, my resolution, I'm going to get in shape. So they join like the 5 a.m. boot camp, you know, person whips you in the back while, you know, throwing things at you. I don't know. We come up with some weird thing.
Yeah, we do.
We have these strange diets. And a lot of times they're effective for the short term if we stick with them. But the problem is when you go big or go home, you're not building a life that you can sustain. You're doing something short term, and it might get you started, and that's fine. But what are you doing long term? Because go big or go home for a lot of men happens when they start doing all these things they've never done. You know, from a couch potato to running a marathon in a month.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get injured. You're going to hurt yourself, and then you're going to fall back into the I can'ts because you're going to say, I tried that.
Yeah.
So the go big or go home, the danger of that is, one, it's not sustainable. You usually can't live your life that way. And then two, if you do end up hurting yourself or something bad happens, then you get the cynicals where you just kind of give up and you say, okay, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And we don't have to train as Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Men just like, if I'm going to get in shape, I got to be a Navy SEAL. I saw this video. This guy, he's got this workout. He does all this stuff.
Yeah. I got to swim with sharks.
Yeah.
I have to do it.
He's a Navy SEAL. You're a guy who works in an office. You're not a Navy SEAL. You don't.
And that's okay.
It's
doesn't mean you're not healthy.
Exactly.
Sometimes we give ourselves two options. I'm either literally a Navy SEAL
Yeah.
or I'm a fat tub of goo.
That's it.
Those are the two choices.
That's it. There's no in between.
That's not, there's a large area in between those.
Yeah, a very large area. And what we have to do is think of, okay, it's not all or nothing. It's, okay, what can I do that's realistic? It does challenge me, but it's also something I can do long term.
Yeah.
Something I can do over years. Something that I like. Something that is good for me. That's what we need to change our thinking to. The all or nothing attitude usually only hurts us.
Yeah.
And it hurts the people we're around because, like, well, in your home, you know, when dad gets on his health kick, everybody's got to get on their health kick.
Yep.
You know, when dad or mom get on their health kick, everybody in the family is
We're
like,
going to eat trash for a month
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go back to the way things were.
Yep. Yeah. It's reading greens every morning for breakfast until one morning there's bacon, eggs, and sausage biscuits there. And everybody knows, okay, we're past this stage. And there's families that do that. They know the stage.
Yep.
What we want to do is build something that's long-term. And so you have to make sure that you're not getting that all or nothing because a lot of men do it. And there's nothing wrong with being committed. You just don't want to set the bar so high that you're going to end up failing, because then you'll fall back into the I can'ts, and then you won't even try.
Yeah, it makes me think of a quote by James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. He said, we have to learn to master the art of showing up.
Yeah.
Master the art of showing up. Health is all about showing up.
It is.
Every day.
Yeah.
It's not about, like you said, getting to a certain weight or being a Navy SEAL. You know, it's about your everyday showing up.
Yeah.
And the key to be able to establish those habits, to be able to live that lifestyle, is being willing to go through the process. A good way to think about it, the all or nothing attitude looks at a 3-story building and says, I'm going to jump to the top right now. I'm jumping to the top of that 3-story building. And they're not going to take the stairs. Maybe you should just take the stairs.
Yeah.
Start with the first step.
Yeah.
You know, the first step doesn't get you to the 3rd story of that building, but it gets you closer than you were. And it's a lot easier to walk up the stairs than it is to try and just get strong enough to jump to the top of the building.
To jump. And then when you fail, you're going to get hurt. You're going to mess up. You're going to feel like a failure. Where when you go up the steps, as you take each step, you're going to get stronger.
Empowered.
You're going to be better. And that's where we have to remember, the all or nothing will keep us back, actually. And what you want to do is, like you said, show up every day, get better, because as you do it, you learn. You learn, okay, this doesn't work for me as good as that. I like this, I don't like that. That's like when CrossFit, and a lot of people love CrossFit, and that's fine. When a bunch of my friends got into CrossFit, I was like, that's just not me. You know, I'm in my mid-50s. I'm not trying to set personal best and beat a 25-year-old in something. That's not going to be good for my body. It's not going to be good in the whole thing. I do like lifting weights. I do lift weights, but I'm not trying to set records for the Olympics or something. I just want to be in better shape. So I just, you know, I'm good. I don't want to do it. And I had friends that, oh, it's great. Great. But that's hard to keep up all the time. It just is. Most people I know don't.
And it's interesting. I was one of those CrossFit people for about a year. I went to CrossFit for a year, and it worked for me for that year. I definitely was fit, but I got to the point where I was like, my knee has never hurt me before. And it's hurting me right now. Maybe I should stop. And, but I saw a lot of people start out with CrossFit because I had already had a fitness habit for probably about 5 years before I went to CrossFit. And I felt like I'd never worked out a day in my life. I was dying every workout, the whole year. It never got easier. But I would see people 45, rather large, and they show up and they're like, I'm about ready to get fit. And I'm like, why are you here, dude? Like, go to Planet Fitness for a minute and relax. Because this is the truth. With an environment like that, they have the scaled down versions. But you're surrounded by all the people who are going all out. So you're not going to scale it down.
You're going to try to go all out.
You're going to try and go all out. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on that too much. Let's get to the next slide. The all or nothing attitude is not good. That's what we're established.
It's just not good.
The final one is, and this is a huge one, comparison. Comparison, I think a lot of times is the root of our unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, it is. And with men are natural comparers. We compare ourselves to other people and everything. It's just the way we are. And we have to be careful, because there's a natural place of comparison in that you want to be challenged. So you want to set someone up as like a goal. Like I heard a guy talking the other day. Actually, it was Jeff Cavalier talking about Sylvester Stallone back in the day with Rambo and all that. He was kind of his fitness goal, because he said he knew my body type, I would never look like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. He says, but I could look like Sly Stallone. So I think that's a very important thing for us to do. Is there's people who can be goals and can encourage us, but a lot of us, we're looking at people who their build is completely different than ours. Their lifestyle is completely different from ours, and we set them as the goal. We compare ourselves. Well, I don't look like this guy. Well, he doesn't look like him most of the time. You know, he's doing that for a part in a movie, and once the movie's done, he's not going to look like that. And so we have to be careful that we don't, as men, make this comparison. Well, my friend Johnny, he runs 20 miles a week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fine for him, but maybe you don't like running.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe running's not your thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you're something else. So why try and be him when you need to be you?
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, is figure out what you are into, what you can sustain, what you enjoy. You're going to do stuff you like.
Yeah.
If you just hate something, it's not going to be long term.
Mm-hmm.
You can get through it for a while, but maybe you try something and say, okay, this isn't me, but let me try this. I like this.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, when I started, the first time I ever did a little mini triathlon, you know, and in your mind, you're thinking, a triathlon, it's impossible. But it was a little one. I finished it, and I was like, okay, that wasn't so bad. And it was like a 200-meter swim, like maybe a 5-mile bike and a 1-mile run. I mean, it was something short. But it made me think that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got into doing that.
Yep.
And so it's one of those things, find what's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be triathlon. It can be whatever. Just do something you like and quit comparing yourself and trying to be someone else, because that's a big fault that men really fall into.
It's true. And sometimes it's like the grass is always greener kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, let's give an example between us. You're good at swimming.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the swim team as a kid.
Yeah.
It's just one of your natural, like probably one of your strongest areas is swimming and biking in the triathlon. For me, I don't have that much experience with swimming.
Yeah.
And I don't know the proper breathing techniques and all that. So I went through a phase in college where I was like, swimming is really low impact on your joints. It's got all these benefits. I should try it. And, 5 minutes in, I'm like, I feel like I'm being waterboarded while working out. This is terrible.
Yeah.
And one day if I get the technique, maybe I'll like it,
Yeah.
but it's not my thing right now.
Yeah.
So I do stuff like tennis,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I'll run.
Yeah.
I had to be okay with being like, I know that theoretically swimming is really great for you,
Yeah.
but for me, it is not.
Yeah.
Because I like being able to see where I'm going when I'm working out.
Mm-hmm.
So being willing to experiment,
Yeah.
trying things out,
Yeah.
you don't have to set somebody else up as the gold standard that you can never reach.
Yeah.
You can't get stuck in the comparison game.
Yeah, and comparison, what it does is it gets you to think outside what is realistic, what's normal. And again, I'm not saying don't challenge yourself. Mm-hmm. Everybody should, but we should be careful with who we're challenging ourselves with.
Right.
And your lifestyle. You may say, I want to look like him. Well, that person works out, 8 hours a day. They do all of this stuff. You have a job, you have a family, you have a life. You have maybe an hour a day you can give to your health.
Maybe.
So an hour a day versus someone who works out 8 hours a day, they're going to look better than you every time. Just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, unless you build your life around working out in different ways. But that's something that most people who do that enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoy the feeling. They enjoy what happens. Sure, it's still work, but they enjoy it. And what you want to do is find what you enjoy and quit trying to be someone that you're not.
Yeah. I guess if we were to give you a takeaway today, it would be don't try to rush the process of physical health. We're encouraging you to fall in love with the process of physical health. It is a lifelong commitment.
Mm-hmm.
If you are properly physically healthy, you will be that way till the day you die.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I mean, my goodness, your dad is whitewater rafting in Colorado. He did it in Ecuador when he was what, like 70s?
76
He was 76 kayaking in Ecuador.
in Ecuador.
Right?
Yeah.
And he loves that. He loves kayaking. It's his big thing. That's his lane.
Yeah.
And he does it not because he's being healthy, but because he enjoys it.
He enjoys it.
So we're not saying you're going to find your thing day one.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to probably test it out a little bit. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the things that you like. And, if physical health becomes a secondary benefit to something you already enjoy,
Yeah.
power to you, man.
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, now you've mixed your hobby and your health habit together.
Yeah.
Be willing to take time to experiment with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing we want to do is experiment, find the process that you like, and you do it with everything when it comes to your health, the physical aspect, your eating, all those things, you experiment, and that's the fun of it. Do I like this? Do I not like this? Let me try this for a while. Or some people just like a variety.
Yeah.
During this time of the year, I do this. During this time of the year,
true.
I do this.
Yeah.
And so that's normal. It's natural, and it's not wrong. You just want to do something that you can keep doing and that you enjoy.
Yeah. And like, for example, one of the applications, I think you could purchase the course and go ahead and use that as a guide to start, because what we focus on is the principles of health.
Yeah.
We give you some practicals, but we also look at the big picture and say, hey, here's the general idea of healthy movement habits.
Yeah.
Take that and run with it.
And that's the point is in the Physical Course 101, what we do is we want to help you learn how to build the habits. We don't want to just tell you what to do because you're an individual. I'm an individual. Everybody is different. What you want to do is say, okay, let me find the basics and then let me go from there and figure out what works for me, what makes me have successful physical health. And I think as you do that as a man, you become more confident, you kind of grow in yourself, and you'll be a better man in the other areas because you're taking care of that physical health area.
Yeah, and we want you to start today. So we would encourage you, go to thrivingman.com, get the course. We're going to throw in a free one-on-one coaching session, $65 value, if you purchase it in September. We want you to begin today. Don't wait till after the holidays. Don't wait till January 1st.
Yes.
Start today, because it's a lifelong journey, and we want you to fall in love with the process. If this information has been helpful for you, I would encourage you to share it with somebody else. Send it to someone who maybe is dealing with one of the 3 lies. Somebody who, as they're listening to this, hopefully it can click for them and they can start working towards a new identity, the identity of a healthy person. If you found this helpful for you, we would encourage you to leave a comment and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Give us a like. Or if you are on the podcast, you could follow us and leave a review and a rating. That really helps us go up in the algorithm to get it out to more people. Our goal is to help men thrive mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's what it's all about. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Thriving Man Podcast. If you want to check out more resources from David and Reese, you can go to thrivingman.com. We'll see you in the next episode.